This is your reminder that self-care doesn't have to be complicated, and sometimes it starts with your feet. Imagine being able to calm your body, reduce stress, and feel real relief just by using your own hands. The problem is that most people think that reflexology is really complicated or something that only professionals can do. And so they live with tension, with sore feet, and built up stress that they don't know how to release. And in this video, I'm going to show you some simple, safe reflexology techniques that you can use at home to give yourself a therapeutic foot massage that helps your whole body to relax starting today. I'm going to show you some of the products that you may or may not have on hand. Don't make it complicated. I've got a couple of different foot creams here. There's one by Burt's Bees. This is a great one. One of my favorites is actually one that has peppermint included in this. This is really yummy for that tingly sensation. If you don't know me, my name's Tiffany. I am the founder of Anderson Therapeutics. I am a health educator. I'm also an alternative healthcare provider, and I have been certified in reflexology since 1996. I practice this at home. I've had a clinical practice. I've had a spa practice. And these techniques are things that you can share with a loved one, but also share with yourself. Now again, don't get complicated with this. This is a little hand lotion that I picked up at a hotel recently. So any cream that you have on hand is great for this. Another one that you might want to use if you have a little foot deodorizer spray. These are simple that you can get. This one was from the dollar store, so they don't need to be really fancy. And if you have a little spray bottle at home, you can make some of these. Put some mint in there, put some peppermint in there, and that's a good way to spritz off your feet, deodorize them, and give them a little fresh uplift. So at the end of a long day, what you're going to start with is clean, dry feet. Let's start with the foot massage. All right, so I've lowered the camera just so you can see my foot a little bit better. And if you're unable to bend and reach your feet this way, you might need the help of a loved one. Though if you can, this is the great way that you're going to start just with some pressure. Think about your feet when they've been in shoes all day and they might feel cramped and have that tension and all of that built up pressure, because our feet, these these parts of our body, they are so small compared to the rest of our body, and they support us and carry us around all day long. This is when we want to invest in our health and give us that extra time. The simple pressure and compression is actually loosening up the muscles, stimulating the reflexology points, and this is the way that you can just help to relieve some of that tension. And the nice thing about doing this for yourself, I often hear people when they'll complain about getting a pedicure, or maybe they went in and had a professional massage or just even had some footwork, and they felt like the pressure was too hard and it was painful. And reflexology can be painful, though you should never be hurt by anyone, and a quality practitioner will always ideally they should respond if you say that hurts. So by doing this yourself, you know you better than anyone, and so I know what type of pressure that I like. Once you've loosened up the muscles here, then this is when I would add some cream. You could add the spritz if you like, and a little goes a long way, but again, you know the dryness of your skin, and I would start with about this much. So that's a little over than a size of a quarter, and I'm going to warm this up in my hands. Some people like the feeling of coolness on their skin. Other people like a really warm, and just start with gently applying the cream all over, covering your foot. Once everything is fully moisturized, and with the The angle of my leg this way, this is putting my foot at a really good space in order for me to fully see the bottom of my foot, as well as easily cover the top of my foot with my left hand. Now with my right hand here, I'm going to make a little fist and go into the center of the foot through the arch here, and then slowly knead through here. And reflexology points, there are charts all over the place on the internet. You can look if you want to focus on specific points. The benefits of reflexology are that you can actually work on your hands and feet and feel relief and release tension that impacts your entire body. The area here near the arch reflects a lot of our internal organs. And so this can be really helpful if you have digestive problems. And again, we're focusing on our feet. All of the muscles and the tendons, our feet are such complex parts of our body. And then you can take your thumb and go up along here. I've got my index finger on the other side and sliding up through here. And depending on what type of shoes that you're wearing all day, think about if you've been wearing high heels or you've been in hiking boots or whatever type of shoe that you've been wearing, how that has been impacting your feet all day. And move down to your heel and a gentle circular motion here. It's very comforting. This is very soothing. This is something that you can do while you're watching television, just winding down in the evening. And it honestly doesn't take very long. I like to switch here and slide up through the base of the foot and along this tendon. The tendon at the back of our leg here around the ankles carries a lot of tension. Now as you slide up the feet, then interlace your fingers through your toes. And this is really helpful, especially you can see my little toe curls under. I wore poorly fitting shoes, especially a lot of high heels when I was a younger woman, and it definitely changed the shape of my feet. And our toes carry so much stress and tension, and as we get older, our toes can curl and get really, really tight. And by loosening up our toes and helping to loosen those up, we're actually improving our balance. So if you only had a short amount of time, I would focus on your toes the most and loosening through every joint. With the reflexology charts, again, this whole side of your foot aligns with the spine. So whenever I would see clients, that I would always finish with the foot massage. That's how I would actually finish a session when I was giving an entire 60 to 90 minute or even an 120 minute massage, that I always finish with footwork. And depending on whatever complaint, that I would especially focus on all of the pressure points that reflected the areas that were bothering them most. Right here aligns with the base of the neck, so any neck tension. And then the center of the big toe is a space to work on if you're prone to getting headaches, especially migraines. Even the tip of the big toe. And if you have bunions and corns, again, this is where being able to work on your own feet. You know the areas that are really sensitive. In the past, I was really prone to having cracked and dry heels. And so there were a lot of times I was very uncomfortable and embarrassed to have anyone else work on my feet. And I've had literally hundreds of people apologize to me as I was working on their feet, saying, "Oh, don't look at my feet. Oh, I'm so sorry." I've been trained. I've worked in a clinical setting. I'm a patient advocate, and I understand that the state of our feet are sometimes not as healthy as they could be, and that's where showing yourself this kindness at home is a more comfortable way. If you're embarrassed or are very sensitive, have certain spots that are really, really painful, giving this type of a treatment to yourself is another way to invest in self-care. And it's so simple to do. At least once a week, if not work up to every day. If your feet are sore on a regular basis, give this a try. Now this I'm at just over 11 minutes right now, and look how much that I have worked on every area of my feet. The top of the feet here, this can get really, really sore, especially if you're wearing boots or anything that is impacting and compressing your ankles. So through here, as you think about right this area, can you see that as the pressures I'm pushing with the toes here? That's really helpful for our digestive system, for lymph, and just any of if you think about all of the excess fluid that can build up. I'm really prone to getting swollen ankles at the end of a long day. And this massage right through here, in between the tendons, so you're just taking your finger and going right through here. And using as much pressure as is comfortable for you. And my nails are a little bit longer now. I wouldn't have nails this long if I was, had a private practice any longer. And I know how to, as we're doing this for ourselves, focusing on using the pad of your finger. So if you do have long nails, just use the pad of your finger, or even you could even switch over to your knuckle if that's more comfortable for you. And you can see right here that I have the beginnings of a little bunion that my podiatrist and I do an L stretch, and so I make sure to elevate, and there's ways that I actually am working my foot a little bit differently on my left side because this little guy and many of you have bunions, so you understand you can work through that, and it can take a lot of the pressure and the tension off through there. And the more that you are accustomed to giving yourself a foot massage, you can get a little more aggressive, and only if it feels comfortable for you. You don't want to hurt yourself. I put together another video about giving yourself a foot bath and using stones and Epsom salts as another way to invest in the health of your feet. And for a lot of people, if they're not flexible or aren't able to bend, that's a nice start and a way to warm up the feet and use the stones and just the pressure of your feet manipulating the stones. It's really good for dexterity. So I hope this was helpful and useful, and I would love to hear in the comments, do you receive regular foot treatments, either just by getting a pedicure, or do you see a massage therapist or reflexologist on a regular basis? And is it something that is just a special occasion or part of your regular health routine? As I said, I've worked in alternative healthcare since 1996, and I certainly practice what I preach. And I also encourage people to seek out qualified practitioners and set aside that time, that investment to your health. I have a number of health resources on my website that are free since I've switched over to patient advocacy and public health. I have a resource guide for people who are dual hip replacement recipients or even a single hip replacement. I have another guide that talks about a holistic approach to well-being. And I will put the free PDFs and links to all of those sites, and you could check them out below. I'm going to leave you there, and I will finish with the other foot. So I have balance. Give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see more videos like this. And I thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.